I worked in a state hospital in the 70s, and on day one, I realized that I really wasn't that different from most of the other people who were there without the keys. I could really relate to them, and I worked on an admission unit, and husbands could, back in the day, husbands could bring their wives in and say, my wife is crazy, and then they'd medicate them. It was really horrifying, really, when you think about it. There were some really good people there, I'm not saying that, but in general, the system was really bad. And I saw people get electroshock. I saw people with such bad tardive dyskinesia that they could barely talk. And I always said, if I could ever do the alternative, I will do it. Well, people always ask me, what is the Soteria program? Well, there is no program. That's the whole point of it. There's no program. People come, and the house changes all of the time. The house changes based on who works there and who's living there. It's very adaptable. It has to be, because we're in response to not just the people who live there, but the people who work there. And many of the people themselves healed by working there. One of the things we always looked for in Soteria was for people to work there would be people who had contextual thinking and people who can be with in the same way. In fact, we did hire a lot of people with lived experience, and our board of directors were 2/3 by our bylaws, 2/3 peers, but it wasn't a peer. It's not really a peer model. But it morphs into that, in my opinion, at least the ones I've seen and that I was involved in. Our Soteria house had a psychiatrist attached to us, and that was important because it's hard to actually find people who are neuroleptically naive anymore within the age range that we were serving, because kids are getting medicated at such an early age. So we were experiencing that challenge. The original Soteria house was for newly diagnosed people, and because in the 70s you could do stuff like this, I don't think you can do it anymore. They came to the hospital sort of, and you'd say, do you want to be in this research project? And if they said yes, they might get to go to Soteria house, or they might stay in the hospital. I'm not sure that would fly right now, but I'm sorry to say I don't think it would, but it was brilliant, but it was a different time.